Welcome to EGF Academy. I am Dr. Geetanjali. Today's topic is Community Reserve and Conservation Reserve. In India, the protected areas include national parks, wildlife sanctuary, biosphere reserve, and apart from these, there are community reserve and conservation reserve. The total area under protected land is 5.02%. Now let's see what is community reserve and conservation reserve. First one is community reserve. These are the lands which are private or have community ownership. It means suppose this is a village area. This is the area where humans live. Also, here is a small forest area. This land is the private land, means the land belongs to the people who live here. This land can belong to an individual person, family, or the entire community. Now, suppose some wild species live here. Suppose a bird species live here or animal species live here. And all the people together conserve that bird species or any animal species. Then the government gives such areas the status of community reserve. Government gives it a legal recognition. Government recognizes that this area is a community reserve and people are conserving species in their private areas. It means they are conserving the biodiversity and the wild animals found in their private areas. So when these areas get legal recognition of a community reserve, then they also get some financial help from the government so that they can conserve these species more effectively. In 2003, Wildlife Protection Act 1972 was amended and community reserve was added as a new category of protected area. The community reserve is declared by the state government to any private area or community land which is not included in the list of national park or wildlife sanctuary. If this is a national park and people are living here and they are conserving the species which are found in the national park, then they are already conserved species inside the national park. So this area doesn't need to be given the status of community reserve. Now suppose if people live outside of this national park and they are conserving animal species in their private lands. So such land area is given the status of community reserve. This also intends to improve the socio-economic condition of the people living there as well as conservation of wild animals. Community reserve is managed by the Community Reserve Management Committee. First, state government announces that this area is community reserve. Then there a community committee is formed, Community Reserve Management Committee. And this committee decides what activities can be allowed in community reserve and what not to be allowed. Formation of community reserve doesn't affect the rights of the people living there. All the rights that they already have remain as such. Now suppose people were doing agriculture with the traditional method like use of cattle, bulls for agriculture. Now people want to mechanize their agriculture using modern machines. Now this will change the agriculture process here. So to bring this change, first of all, the Community Reserve Committee will have to approve it, whether it can be done or not done. So Community Reserve Management Committee will pass the resolution and it will be sent to state government. After approval of state government, then only such activities can be done there. The first community reserve of India is Keshopur Sham Community Reserve present in Punjab. Next is Conservation Reserve. So what is a conservation reserve? These are such type of areas. Suppose this is an area and people live here. Suppose this area is a government area. In community reserve, the area was private land. People were conserving in their private land. But in conservation reserve, the area belongs to the government. And in this government area, people are conserving species, be it animal species, bird species, or plant species. They are conserving it. Such areas are given the status of conservation reserve, which is declared by the state government. So this area is owned by the government. So first, state government will consult the people living there about whether that area should be declared as conservation reserve or not. Only after consultation, the state government gives it the status of conservation reserve. These areas are particularly nearby areas to national park or wildlife sanctuary. For example, this is a national park and these are the nearby areas. It is also forest area. The wild animals will move to these nearby areas as well. So we need to conserve these species in this area as well. But this area is a government area and people are conserving wild species here. So these areas are given the status of conservation reserve. These areas are uninhibited, means no one lives in conservation reserve. It is owned by Government of India but given for the sustenance of the local community. It means the people who live here and people can do their sustenance activity here. For example, grazing can be done. They can collect fuel wood. These communities have these rights. In 2002, Wildlife Protection Act was amended and conservation reserve category was included. Here also, when any area is declared as conservation reserve, people's rights are not affected. If some area is declared as a national park, then their hunting, grazing, fuelwood collection, everything is banned. But if conservation reserve is formed, then no rights of people is affected. First conservation reserve of India was Tirupaday Maruthur Conservation Reserve, which is located in Tirunelveli, Tamil Nadu. In this area, the village community was conserving bird species of that place. That's why it was given the status of conservation reserve. Conservation reserves are included in IUCN category number 5. In this category, protected landscape and seascape is present. Along with it, conservation reserve is also included in it. And the community reserve is included in IUCN category 6, which also include managed resource protected area. As of now, in India, there are 88 conservation reserve and 163 community reserves. Subscribe for more informational videos. You can join our affordable courses for NEET, NET JRF and UPSC. Registration link is given in the description box.